Landry has joined us. Brooke Justice, Dan Steele is connecting as we speak. Bill Clark, AG from Grapevine, is connecting and joining us. So, we're getting some, but just want to let you know, we're getting some people in.
Let me unmute folks. Well, there we go, unmute.
Well, I've asked everybody to stay muted until they wanted to.
The way I have this set up, just so you know, is when they come on, they're automatically muted. That way it doesn't interrupt the meeting that's in place. So for those that join us, and obviously Valerie, you won't be able to, but would you please turn on your video camera, which is in the lower left-hand corner, so we can see your smiling face?
Hey,
Valerie.
Hi, Valerie.
I'm eating lunch.
That's great. I'm so sorry about everything that's happened to you and every other restaurateur in Arlington and everywhere, Fort Worth.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I mean, it's not just us, it is everyone. And so we're just trying to hang in there, just like everybody else is.
Well, I'm glad you sent out the email this morning. We are definitely going to drive by and grab some food.
Good.
So,
I'm
and
sorry,
Dan,
Valerie.
Dan Steele.
Arlington
How are
is
you
a
doing?
long
Hello.
way.
Governor nominee, what is it now? Designate?
Yeah. Well, not yet. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah,
You're
designate.
designate.
Yeah,
You'll be nominee
designate.
in
Yeah.
July 1st.
Yeah. Kind of hard to keep all that
Hi,
straight.
Linda.
I hear you. And Karen, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
Hi. And I see Larry's joined us too, Patrash. Hi, Larry. Haven't seen you in
Larry.
ages.
Fantastic. Good to see you, Larry. Well, I don't see your picture, but anyway, Brooke Justice has joined us. Thank you, AG Brooke.
Howdy.
How's everything in Burleson?
Oh, busy.
Busy.
Busy, yeah. Especially with
Well,
Oh, there's Larry.
and Bill Clark, I don't know if Bill may not, Jim Giffen's on there too. PDG Jim, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you.
Good. Are you going to show us a picture of yourself?
Thinking about it.
Bill Clark's on too. Hopefully he'll, we'll see his face as well. We appreciate all of the AGs joining today and PDGs and everybody. We're getting close to getting started. I promised this meeting wouldn't last any more than 30 minutes. I'm going to keep my promise. However, if people want to talk after that, we can certainly accommodate that as well. And I will shut my phone off. Dan Blumberg is trying to join the Zoom meeting and it's not working. I don't know why. Pat Peters is joining as well. Dan, how's everything going in Mineral Wells? Is it settling in with people there? Has anything been canceled?
Yeah, a lot of things have been canceled. We canceled our Rotary meetings through the end of April, and then we decided to postpone our bike ride, which is supposed to be the weekend of the 18th. So we've kind of shut down Rotary right now, and then I think everybody else is kind of shutting down like that. Backpack Buddies is working with the schools, and they're providing meals. The school's providing a meal pickup, and then Backpack Buddies is providing another meal for some of those kids who need breakfast and other things. So they've had 400 to 500 to 600 meals that the Backpack Buddies has been doing every day.
That's amazing.
So I don't know. They're gonna, they still have food, but I don't know what they're gonna do when they run out of food.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. That's one of the things that is on my agenda later on to visit a little bit about what community service projects, COVID-related community service projects have popped up. I've already had some ideas come in, and that seems to be top of mind right now. Steve Dixon joined us, Pat Peters, and it's almost 1:30, so we'll get started in just a minute. But I really want to thank everybody for taking their time to join us today. The purpose, and there's Lori Fickling coming on. I don't think she's totally joined yet. But as I mentioned in the email, the purpose of this call today is to, in a sense, prepare for the Monday call. I haven't yet sent the invitation out. It'll go out after this call. But at 7 o'clock Monday evening, we're going to have a conference call, and I'm going to invite, as it stands right now, all the clubs, presidents, their president-elect, public information officer, and I'm strongly considering the community chair, community services chair, because of all the community service changes that are taking place in the district, everywhere because of the COVID, and also asking that if there's a person who handles e-meetings or can handle e-meetings, that person join as well. I believe, John, will the meeting be limited to 100 people?
No, we should have, at that point, we should be on the new contract that I'm setting up this afternoon.
Is that for 1,000?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Oh, wow.
Good. So you got my credit card.
I haven't tried it yet, but I will.
Make sure you don't give that information to anybody else, please. Yeah, I saw it. Anyway, so the purpose of the meeting is to, gather as much information. I already have an agenda, but what I really would like to find out more than anything is everybody's feelings, what's going on in your community, if there's anything different. I'm going to quickly go over a couple of things, I think some of which you may already know, but for those who don't, know that the International Convention has been canceled. That has to be absolutely the toughest decision that has ever been made in Rotary, or one of the toughest decisions. It's the first time in 100 or so years, it's the first Rotary International Convention that has ever been canceled. So this is definitely a historic event. And everybody's going to get refunded everything that they put in. There's various ways. Just go on the website, RI website, and you'll find out how it's going to be done. Most of it's going to be done for you. District conference, we are in constant contact with conference chair and others. We have a meeting at the hotel next Wednesday. It may be complicated by an email I got from the Hilton Group last night, or from some hotel organization that included the Hilton Group, saying that the Hilton and other hotels are going to be shutting down in Texas. I hope that's not true. I sent the link to that email to our contacts at our Hilton here, and haven't yet had a response. But as of right now, I'm counting that we're going to have a meeting on Wednesday in an effort to see some dates when we can reschedule at some point in the future. And when I'm talking future, it's probably going to be in Roger's year, July or maybe even August. Feeling is that there's no point in constructing a conference if nobody's going to show up, even if it's legal. So I think we need to get far enough away from this COVID thing so that people are going to not only feel comfortable in joining, in attending, but want to get out of their house and attend a Rotary event. Roger and I have been talking on many occasions over the last week about also including some training, since so many training meetings are going to have to be canceled going forward. I'm wanting to see if we can find a way to include some district assembly type training within district conference, especially since it's going to be in his year. We certainly want to celebrate everyone's success for this year, but there's also a huge need, and there's a huge calling in the survey I sent out. What's going to happen with training? Well, how are we going to train our new board? So, we do want to serve those people and answer that question. The survey that I sent out, I am overwhelmed by the response that it got. Typically, you send a survey out, maybe 5 or 10 people, or 5 or 10% of the people will actually respond. So far, 70% of the clubs have responded in some form, and just about all of the clubs have also come up with some very constructive ideas, things that they're doing in their club, in their community, and I'm going to release that's some of the information that I want to talk with everybody about on Monday. Share some of that information to it. But John sent out, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that when we're ending, but I want to segue into John. On Wednesday, he sent the e-meeting training and assistance email. Excuse me. I asked John, we were talking about the importance of email or e-meetings as this thing was progressing over a week ago. And John put this together with the help of some other members of the committee. I think John did just about all the work. But anyway, it seems to be a very good document. I think everybody on this call received it. And I'm going to turn the meeting over to John right now and would hope that if anybody has any input, please provide it at this time. John, thank you for what you've done.
You're quite welcome. The only thing I wanted to cover, number one, is to make sure you all received copies of it. And all the president and president-elects received copies of it, just to get a process started by which clubs can do Zoom meetings. We've already, what I'd like is some feedback on that document. We've already had a couple clubs. In fact, there's Lori, I don't know if you were on your club's meeting this morning. Anything that you experienced as a result of that meeting that would help?
Let me tell you something. We had 82 people on our Zoom meeting this morning. I mean, sometimes we don't have 82 people in the room when we have it in person. It was really fantastic. We had great feedback. It was very easy. My advice would be to get one moderator, not your president, but someone else who keeps up with comments and questions in the side chat, because our speakers, we had a speaker and then they had questions time. So we ran it just like a regular meeting. It was great. It was great. It was kind of fun to see everybody's face because we've kind of been separated for so long already. It'll only get worse, but yeah, it was wonderful. I highly recommend it.
You feel that helped in getting people together? It satisfied a need?
Absolutely. I just got off the phone with my friend and she said that really energized me. She's, everyone's been kind of isolated for a while. I'm still at work, but I'm isolated at work. So I haven't gotten to see people. And so it really, like this one, it's kind of nice to see people's faces and friends and just reconnect. And there's a side chat on there. You can chat privately, or every now and then I get a text from someone and say, great to see you on the call. It was wonderful.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I appreciate your sharing that. And if you have time on Monday, I'm going to invite everybody on this call to also to attend the Monday meeting with the clubs.
Sure.
If you might, if we have time, if you might share your story, that'd be great.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to. Yeah.
Thanks, John.
Jim has a question, I think. Jim Giffen?
Well, it wasn't a question. It's just to say our club over the last couple of years has held several e-meetings like that in our regular club meeting place, where we connected with the speaker who is someplace else in the world, as far away as Beijing and London. And it's real easy to do. We just projected their Zoom or WhatsApp presentations through our projectors onto the screen, and we could audio back and forth with questions from the field to the speaker remote. So I think exploring and having every club explore doing these things for times like this, as well as others that may arise where you might want to join another club or another speaker someplace and view them as a program. It's simple to do.
Yeah, our speaker this morning, it was Judge Eads, but also it was the county health director calling from his office. So it was great. We could easily do that, like you said, at a regular meeting with someone from far away.
One of the things that I wanted to cover was making sure that when we start these meetings, and I don't know if you did it, Lori, or not, but have a short tutorial on using Zoom, making sure people know they can mute themselves and turn their camera on and off down in the lower left-hand corner. And I agree with you. It's great to see people's faces. We've got a few people, they may be calling from places that they don't have a video, but it would be great to see everybody's face. So to the degree that we spend a couple minutes at least helping people understand how to use the tool and make them comfortable, I think it'll go a long way to help folks.
Right. And what we did was when we sent the email out with the Zoom link, we had 2 members who volunteered, and the email said, if you don't really know how to use Zoom or if you're not comfortable with it, here's 2 people who are happy to help you right now ahead of time so that they can be prepared. Or if they came, we helped them when they got on too, if they needed it. But we did provide a resource ahead of time so they could be quickly trained. And we also did a Zoom networking meeting this morning for our chamber, and we had the same kind of issue. So we just kind of stopped and said, hey, or some people in the side chat would say, hey, click the little microphone on the top so we can hear you, or things like that. It was really nice.
The other thing, Peter, I was going to suggest before wrapping up my comments was that you mentioned talking with Roger about training for the coming year. We really need to consider using Zoom to the fullest extent for that between now and when we get back to a normal life. I was on a call yesterday with people from Australia, Great Britain, Germany, several states, and a lot of the districts already begun that process where they're doing their, one district's even doing their pets training via Zoom. So it's a tool that we can use that can greatly enhance our ability to train our district leader and club leaders.
That's a great idea, John. I think that's something we need to get together perhaps after Monday. On Monday, I want to give the clubs an overview of the services and share some ideas on community service project, but that's not going to be the last meeting. I see us doing meetings like that fairly regularly until it's not necessary anymore. But going forward, training, I think that you and Roger and I and whoever else would need to get together. Jim has his hand up. Jim Giffen.
Yes. Are we going to buy some licenses which allows clubs to have multiple meetings longer than 45 minutes? That's what Scry does. And they make it available to their membership to use for, youth exchange meetings. But the reason the district couldn't subscribe to whatever the license, and they bundle them up for you at Zoom. And so that's something I think we ought to consider from a budgetary standpoint.
Well, Jim, thank you. That's a really good question. And I'm going to ask John if what we're purchasing now could be used by the clubs. Essentially, I'm taking some money out of the discretionary budget to purchase Zoom. It's not something that was in the budget, but under the circumstances, I think that it's something that we need to do. John, can we use this? Can the clubs use it?
It would. Here's the issue right now. What we're purchasing for Monday that gets us 1,000 participants is only good for one host. So, and I don't remember what the dollars are. They're not in front of me. If I recall, I think they're somewhere in the neighborhood of $112 for one host for a month. So that's a multiple. If you want 10 hosts, then that becomes $1,120. So that's a budget decision that has to be made.
Yeah, let's look at, I'd say, let's look at the option. I know there's 100 participant options that might be a little less expensive where you could have multiple hosts, but let's look at the options. Jim, if you'd like to join us in that discussion, I think it'd be productive.
Well, and then the other thing you need to consider is that clubs it's pretty economical. I mean, the one I buy for my company is $12 a month. When you use it with the Rotary, Rotary Rewards, there's a 20% discount. So,
and 45-minute meetings are free.
Yeah, they are.
If you can keep your meetings under 45 minutes, 40 minutes, there's no cost at all. So that's an option.
Okay,
too.
but as I found out recently, the free does not allow for telephone call-ins anymore. That's why meeting we did yesterday, I had to go ahead and buy the 100 people one.
So anyways, it becomes, a strategic money decision as to whether we want to buy it at the district level. Quite frankly, I think we're better off having the clubs buy it on their own.
Yeah, this is going to be a great item to discuss on Monday and get some club input on it. I think we'll get a lot of input on and give us some direction.
Hey guys, this is Roger. If you could find sorry, Peter.
No, go ahead, Roger.
Hey, if y'all can find out what that price is for the individual clubs and broadcast that out on Monday, that way the clubs won't be guessing how much it'll cost them to hold a meeting.
Roger,
John, wasn't that in your the stuff that you sent out Wednesday?
That information was in what I sent out Wednesday. It lists all the different options that are available and what the cost is.
Yeah. Thank you. Maybe we need, if there's any updates, send it out again, maybe over the weekend.
Yeah, and the one thing, Roger, just to know that the amount that I put in that list is what's shown on the website. And I understand there's, when you put in Zoom Rotary as the promotional, it gives you a 20% discount.
And all that was in your message. So
that's correct.
Well-crafted message, actually. Thank you.
And did that go out to everybody in the district or just the leadership?
It went to district leadership and club presidents and president-elects. And public image people of record.
I'd like to mention something right now. If and I'm looking at Valerie's beautiful face. But if you would prefer not having your face pop up, and anytime you make a noise, it's going to go to your video too. So if you mute the audio, that won't happen in the future. Just an FYI. John, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that's all the comments I have, unless somebody's got some questions they'd like to direct toward me.
Any other questions for John? Thank you so much. You have really been putting in a lot of overtime in the last week and a half, 2 weeks on this, and it's vastly appreciated. To finish up, well, of course, everybody saw the survey that I sent out, and I mentioned got an incredible response rate. Clubs are interested in training, and they're interested in knowing about some more things that they might do to help in their community. They're very interested in top questions were about e-training. So, that's why we're the majority of the focus is on that right now, so that clubs can understand and be able to set up meetings. As was stated earlier, Lori stated that, the members of her club were just overjoyed to be able to get together, because pretty much everybody these days are sheltered at home. And those who aren't yet probably will become soon. And felt that it's a very necessary part of this to not be exposed or not expose others to this virus, and flatten the curve. And in doing that, then we're going to eliminate it as soon as possible. I can't wait to get back to business, and I think that's everybody's goal. None of us expected this to interrupt our Rotary year or our lives that we're living now, but it is. And I'm quite proud of everybody that's on this call, and all of our Rotarians are reacting to it in a positive way, and I thank you for that. But we're looking for some other ideas. If you have other ideas, please email them to me. I'm going to get out the email shortly to everybody, and you'll be included on that email to invite you to the meeting at 7 o'clock on Monday. John will send out a meeting notice on that. I happen to think of something just a moment ago that right now really focused on our clubs and our communities. I think we need to make sure that all of our club members are taken care of and motivated, and make sure that they're getting the things that they need, and as well with our communities. But we still have ongoing projects international. And Karen, I'm going to put you on the spot here if you'd like to say a word. Even though there's an incredible focus on what we need to do in our community, and I think that's particularly important right now, and there should be a focus on it. We don't want to forget about what's going on internationally. What should we be doing? What's your advice on how we should be reacting to that now with international projects?
Well, thanks for asking that question, Peter, because I was just about ready to raise my hand. I wanted to let everyone know that last night I received an email from the Rotary Foundation. It went out to everyone who had Global and Scholar grants. So maybe some of you also received it, but basically they've said no more Rotary travel to global grants until, I think they said like it's all of March and all of April, and then they'll reassess. However, we have been, 2 years ago when I started the project in Costa Rica, the wonderful and fabulous John Picorni trained me on Zoom. And so I've been using Zoom ever since on the global grant that we're on now. And we stay in touch with our host club in Costa Rica. And we also have just recently trained all of the people involved in the global grant, all of our women in the tourism business, because of course, Costa Rica is closed, so there is no tourism. So we've been doing extra training via Zoom. So it's a good opportunity to think about reaching out and talking globally to others if you have a project. And even if you are just thinking about a project going into the new year and you have to do a community assessment, now's a good time to start talking to clubs in your country of interest and start looking for a host club. So that's just what I wanted to add.
Well, Karen, thank you. I appreciate you being prepared to ask that. And, you know, I knew you were going to raise your hand. So that should scare really everybody. I know what you're thinking.
Can I make one more announcement?
Please, before everyone
I'm so
laughs
happy to share it, and I don't know if this is the right venue, but I'm going to do it anyway. Next month's issue of the Rotarian magazine will have a feature story on our project.
Wonderful, wonderful. Make sure that we keep that and read it and pass it along to others. Thank you. I want to finish up by telling all the AGs I really appreciate your participating in this call. You are the boots on the ground. We've had some issues this year, issues from me in getting all of the areas staffed and organized, and you know, it's really not been. I've not been as successful in that as I'd like to have been, but I really appreciate your being here. Now is when we really need you. A couple things that we need to focus on between now and the end of the year. Number one, obviously, is what we're talking about now. Getting the word out to your club presidents-elect, and other members by phone is probably the most effective way right now on making sure that they set up the e-meetings, help with that. Just anything you can do along those regards with community service projects, encouragement. People are scared right now, and some people are also ignoring the fact that this exists and just going on about their lives, and those are the most likely to contract it and heaven forbid spread it along. So the more information that we can get out to our clubs and our communities, I think the shorter the version this is going to be, and then we'll get back to normal. So I really appreciate what all of you are doing and out there, and all the help that you're going to be giving as well. And the second thing that I'm going to have to mention, Larry, I know was probably going to bring it up. Our membership numbers are down a little bit for the year. We need to encourage, and I know that it's not the best time in the world.
What happened to Peter?
Larry Petrosh?
Yes. Hello.
Would you? Go ahead, Larry, if you'd like to say something.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, I wasn't sure I was coming through. Yeah, with the membership numbers are a little bit down. I think the last time I looked at the numbers a couple of weeks ago, and it was down about 50. I would expect that the club's not meeting, and a lot of people, I'm going to say that probably by year end we're going to take a bigger hit, just simply because of this virus and the lack of participation on the part of and engagement of a lot of Rotarians. So it'll be interesting to see. I am watching that and monitoring it. I'm doing what I can with our leads program, and trying to beef those numbers. But the other thing it does, something I was doing personally, going out and visiting clubs, and of course this whole thing puts a squash on that pretty big. So it's I'm somewhat concerned about what our numbers are going to look like at the end of the year because of all this inactivity, I guess, that the COVID thing precipitates.
Well, thank you, Larry. I think that should concern everybody. What I'm wondering, though, is since there's such a focus on e-meetings right now, and if we get our clubs out into the communities, I think, and helping in our communities with this COVID, it's going to give Rotary higher visibility. What I'd like to do is look into potential ways to induct new members electronically. I wonder if that's a possibility. If somebody has a vacuum cleaner or something running, if you put yourself on mute, thank you. But I don't know if that's a possibility, but I think it's something that I'd like to, I will look into, and maybe you and I could do that together, Larry.
Yeah.
Well,
Does anyone else have any comments before we end? We got 4 minutes.
Peter, just
Yeah,
a
John.
comment based on what Larry was saying. Let's look at this as making lemonade instead of lemons. I think we have an opportunity here because we're digital and because everybody else in our neighborhoods doesn't, oh, look who brought their dog to the party. Everybody else doesn't have anything to do. This is a good time for folks to find out about Rotary. As we get more comfortable with our Rotary meetings via Zoom or whatever vehicle we're using, let's invite our neighbors and friends to these meetings and ask them to participate. They may not go to a 7 a.m. meeting at Christian Community Action, but they may come up online. So it's just a different way in how we package the market.
They can not only go online, but they can bring their own cocktail.
And they can even do it in their pajamas.
To that point, John, we had several visitors this morning on our online club meeting.
There you go.
I don't know if anybody attended the Houston district meeting yesterday. That was the first that I know of that took place. We'll do it Monday. But they had some visitors on that. They invited visitors, non-Rotarians, to attend. I've been talking all year about how important public image is in the realm of getting new members. I think it's critical to let our communities know that Rotary exists in our communities and is doing good in our communities, and to invite people in who share that desire to do good in their communities. And I guess my only question is, let's see who can do a first electronic induction of a new member. Can we make that a challenge?
Challenge accepted.
There you go. All right. Are there any other questions or comments before we leave?
Yes, I could just make a brief comment. Being an old guy, I've been doing online meetings forever with IBM through the VM system and so forth. And the thing that seems to serve well is I think it helps to have a timed agenda, to have a spelled out agenda and keep moving through the agenda, and for people to arrive on time so that the meeting can start on time. So I always try to start a meeting like you've been doing 5 or 10 minutes early so people can work out the bugs and getting signed on, and the meeting can start on time. You can keep it on message and finish on time. And I think those are important. Well, they seem to serve well for me in all the meetings that I've had.
Well, thank you for that, PDG Paul. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I know that everyone sees my virtual whip and my virtual cane that pulls people off stage.
Very good.
Don, did you have something to say? I thought Don.
I just got logged in. I couldn't get in. It was asking for my. Anyway, I mean, thank you, and I missed everything up till now.
We'll get you up to date.
Recording, Don, so I'll send you the video.
Thank you.
Thank you for recording it. I see that it has been recorded. Maybe we can put this on the website or the Facebook page.
Sure.
That'd be great if we can do that. That's fantastic. Are there any other comments or suggestions? If not, again, I want to thank everyone for taking their time today to meet with us. You'll be receiving an invitation for Monday night. I hope that you can join. And, let's get out there and do good in the world, do good in our communities, and do the right thing for this. And, I appreciate seeing everybody's faces. I didn't see anybody touch their faces with their hands, so that's a really good thing we're all learning. Thank you all so much. You all have a good day. send
you,
me
Peter.
by email any questions or any comments that you might have. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Y'all take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Lori.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.